Welcome to middle school. It's a good thing. Come on, everybody. I could see the fear in some of your eyes as you walked through, as you were looking into all the nooks and crannies of the building. But welcome. My name is Mindy Molaski. I am the principal here of the middle school, and I have been in the district. I am completing my 27th year. You can clap for me. I'm old. And I was really feeling it tonight as I look around and as I greeted many of you who were my students when I was a high school teacher. So it's nice to have you here. We are excited for your students to be coming to the middle school. I just recently got to shadow a 6th grader, and it was an interesting day. We had a lot of fun. I experienced recess, and I haven't had recess in a very long time. And so now I know our kids here love phys ed, but now I can understand why they even love it more for their time that they had at recess there. And then I also took gym as well. But it was a great day. I met a lot of great kids. So I'm really looking forward to meeting them when they come here in the summertime for orientation, but we also will be going there. So this is the first of many, I shouldn't say many, but about 3 orientations that we have. So tonight is Middle School 101, which you will be learning about the curriculum. That's what tonight is about. We will invite you back in June during the school day, because I know that everybody's curious about what happens here during the day and what it's like. Because you've probably heard that kids get locked in lockers and we don't let them in the hallways, and it's just madhouse. None of that is true. So it's a great place, and we invite you to come back in June, because you also will hear from our kids. So our 8th grade ambassadors will do a presentation, and they will talk about just everything about the school, our house system. They'll talk about activities, and then they will also talk about academics as well with you. But you hear firsthand from the kids, and that will be in June. And then in August, we have the same day that we had our orientation with kids. We'll invite you back for an hour or so, and really that's a recap. If you've been to this, you've been to the next thing, or you've called me and you've asked me questions, you really don't need to come to the August one. It's up to you if you want to hear things again, but it'll just be the same stuff that we've been going over. But that's your choice. And then we have an open house, and the open house is usually the day before school starts, where kids can come in and try their lockers, check out where their classrooms are, and that's on your own. It's like the building is open for you to just walk through. Because again, I know you're curious to see where their locker is, help them get it set up. Don't buy those locker inserts with the shelves. Don't buy them, it's a waste of money, they can't have them. So I'll tell you that right now, don't get them. I've seen kids put these little chandeliers in there. It lasts for maybe 2 weeks. Okay, so just say no, it's okay. They just need binders and folders and things like that. But I lost my train. That's the open house, and we open the building for an hour, and you can kind of go through their schedule with them. When you get their schedule, do not panic. Do not go crazy. Try to figure it out for them. We will help them through it. That's the hardest part of middle school for you guys. It's your anxiety for them. And so we're going to talk about that tonight and hopefully relieve some of that anxiety for you. All right? I'm going to be very upfront with you. I'm a direct talker. Some people like that, some people don't. As I said, I've been doing this for 27 years. I was a high school teacher, a high school administrator, I was a coach. I then became the assistant principal here, and then the principal. I can't remember how long I've actually been here in the middle school. I love it. I don't know how I even got here at the middle school. You're laughing at me. And but it happens, and it's a great place. It is 2 fast years, and your kids, you're going to like them some days, and you're going to not like them on other days. All right, let's watch this cute little, and here's just another one about us. All right, so let's get to it. So as I said, my name is Mindy Molaski. I am the principal. I'd like to introduce our assistant principal, Mr. Solomon. Give him a warning. Mr. Solomon has been with he's been initiated to middle school. So he was a high school, he thought he was going to be a high school lifer, teacher, coach, dean of students, and then he's been here now and as he's been converted, right, Mr. Solomon?
Never going back.
Never going back. All right, so what should you expect from us? What should you expect? You should expect good things. All right, this, as you just got to see on those videos, you got to see that this is a warm, friendly environment. We are student-centered. We love our kids. We want them to come to school. We want them to love their school. We want them to be happy. It's difficult being a middle schooler. All right, they got to deal with a lot of stuff. Their bodies are changing, so they're physically changing. Their attitude about school life is all starting to really form, and they have a lot of opinions about things. They want to be independent. They want to be part of a group and have their friends like them and be all about social media. And we have to guide them through this. It gets messy at times. It gets really messy. But we have an excellent faculty. We have teachers that truly care about your kids. And they come to school each and every day trying to make a difference for them. So know that they care for them. You saw that You Matter, We Care. That was a slogan that we were using for 2 or 3 years. We now talk about being a cardinal and what that actually means. We have a challenging curriculum. We have a lot of communication. So we will talk about that tonight, ways that you can learn about the middle school and keep in touch with us. But the biggest part of middle school is the social emotional piece. They cry, they're angry, they will yell, and then they will cry again. They'll come in my office just for nothing, and they cry. And that's okay, because we have to coach them, and we have to work on helping them through what it is to be a middle schooler. So we talk about what that means in terms of the social emotional. Do they have that awareness? Do they know who they are as a person? Are they self-aware of their behaviors, their habits? You know, one of the things, they don't turn their homework in. You know they did it, but for some reason, it didn't get turned in. So what's the why behind that? So if they know it, what's holding them back? Or they tell you, what's the typical thing they say? Oh, I don't have any homework. I got nothing to do. I just recently found a student that was able to change Genesis. And not actually physically change it, but the screen that he was showing his mom, there's some kind of app that you can overlay on it. So you guys have to check on your own. Don't just tell them, show me your grades, because they know all the tricks and treats. It was great when the teacher contacted, the mom contacted the teachers going, you know, what's going on, you know, and kind of, you know, ripping the teacher a little. And when we found out, her son was changing the grades a little bit on the screen to show some stuff. So we have to help them in terms of being aware of their own behaviors and how that affects them and who they are. Self-management, big piece. They're not organized. Their frontal lobes are not fully developed yet. So many of you walked by the lost and found on your way in this morning or this evening. That's no joke, right? I donate, and that's been donated 3 times over. Okay, so we donate every marking period. We're about to donate, we're waiting for parent conferences so parents can go through it one more time. There's expensive stuff. Did you see those water bottles? Those are not cheap. So there's a lot of stuff there. They will tell you somebody took it. They might even say somebody stole it. That is not true. They lost it. They absolutely lost it. They have no idea. They will swear up and down they brought it to school. They will tell us, we go to the camera, we watch them come in school, they never had it. It's sitting at home at the door. The other piece of it is, that they will forget and they will call you and they will say, please bring this. I forgot my sneakers for track. I forgot my computer. How can you forget the computer? They forgot their book bag. They forgot their lunch. They will call you for everything. And I'm going to tell you this, resist. Do not come every single time, okay? They need to learn to get their things here. That's going to be hard for you, right? Because they're going to be on the other line, and what are they going to do? What did I say they do? They cry. And then they nag you. And then because you're tired, you got other kids, you got work, you got stuff, you give in because it's easier, right? That's a decision you got to make on your own, but you need to think about that as you're going to navigate, because you will be here a lot, and you will know Mrs. Pressman and Mrs. Sloan by name, and you'll get them holiday gifts, and you'll give them donuts and flowers because they're going to see your face all the time. I'm funny, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah! This is what happens when you get into middle school. You start to lose your mind, but no, seriously, just think about that before you you just keep coming. Relationship skills, and when I talk about relationship skills, we're not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, we're talking about, not romantic relationships, we're talking about all relationships in terms of skills. How do they have the relationship with you? Because if you're on their back, how do they tell you, Mom, Dad, you're suffocating me and I need some room? That's a hard conversation with some of you because you're scary, right? I'm scared of some of you right now. I saw you come in. I saw a lot of people coming in and they gave me the once-over. So I know that it's scary for them to talk to you as well. But we need to help them navigate their relationships, build those skills with their classmates. They're going to do a lot of group projects. Those are the skills they need, not only for high school, but beyond. They need to know how to work with other people and not hide behind their phone. They need to know how to have conversations, look somebody in the eye, shake their hand, say hello, good morning. So those are things that we work on. We talk about social awareness. Beyond the walls of Lawrence Middle School, what's happening out there in the world. So we give the social awareness as well, and then how do we make good decisions? They're going to mess up. You're going to get the call from Mr. Solomon. He's going to call you and he's going to tell you that they did something that you're not proud of, right? That's hard. That's a hard phone call. You're going to then immediately come to your child's rescue and say, well, what did everybody else do? Did they really say that? You're going to start questioning. Did somebody actually see it happen? Was it an adult that saw it happen or was it another kid that happened? Just stop. All right, let's talk about it. Let's build it. If they made a poor decision, it's not the end of the world. College transcripts will not see their their college recommendations will not see their middle school transcripts. They will not see their discipline record. Most times kids will get a detention in middle school. It's a badge of honor for some of them, right? Some of them will decorate. I had a kid when I was at the high school, they would decorate their locker with their discipline slips. Right? I'm not, you know it. It wasn't you. It might have been you. So that's what happens, right? They want to be cool, they want to fit in, but it's okay. It's a clean slate once they go beyond here, and they need to learn from those mistakes. Okay? So don't be afraid of Mr. Solomon calls. He's a really nice guy. Really nice. So if he calls you, it's all good. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. So some facts about us. 7th and 8th grade, it is 2 quick years. We got about 600 kids in the building. We have a seven period day. It's a straight schedule. Classes run 51 minutes. And they have math, language, art, science, social studies every single day, the entire school year. And then the other classes become every other day. So that means we have a red-white schedule. It'll appear on their report card or on their schedule as a B day. This is what makes you guys crazy. So you're trying to figure out where they are, what they're doing, da-da-da. Don't worry about it. We will go through that with them, what a red day looks like, what a white day looks like, what their classes in rotation looks like, and so forth. So don't get stressed about that. It'll happen. We give them a grace period for being late for the first couple weeks, and we'll guide them through. If it's not the teachers, then the ambassadors. The 8th graders are great, and they will help. So don't believe anything about the mean 8th graders, because they're really nice. We have world language in you'll hear tonight that we have a world language survey class. Our kids take art, they take communications and technology every other day. Phys ed, we have musical groups, we have ESL programs, we have special ed programs, they've got computers, we have academic support instruction in both language arts and math. We have 2 fabulous school counselors and 3 child study team members. So 2 psychologists and a social worker. What I didn't put on here also is that we also have a mental health therapist that we recommend students to if they need assistance. And she does not only student therapy, she also does family therapy as well. And I think I didn't say gifted and talented. We have gifted and talented also. We have a house structure. So I'm sure you've all heard about this. Your kids have told you, I want to be on, name it? Phoenix. Okay, see, somebody out there knows. I want to be on Draco, I want to be on Orion. So we have 3 houses. They're instructional houses. They have all the same classes. There's not one house that's better than the other. Don't believe them when they say that. They have all the same things, they get all the same opportunities. The issue is that their older brother and sister, their cousin, their neighbor, whoever told them the best house to be is whatever it is. And they believe that to be true. When I was there on Friday, the young lady that I was shadowing, she already gave me her request. I said, that's nice, but it's not going to happen. So anyway, what happens, we changed this, I think last year, because what was happening is you guys started to outsmart me a little bit and say that, oh, you would call me and tell me my child or meet me in the summer, you know, here's 4 names that I like my child to be with, or we would talk about it. They have to be with this person, yada, yada, yada. And they were brothers, sisters, siblings of students in a certain house. So that was your way to get your child into a certain house. So what we've done is, I told you, I'm very direct and honest. So now what we've done is, we're doing away with that. We used to have like a legacy kind of thing, because we know that you were familiar with those teachers, or that you liked, you had the black t-shirt already, that kind of stuff. So now we just decide, we just go, it's a random, we don't do the legacy piece anymore, and you can be in any house, all right? It's okay. When you open the letter, it's important, Mom and Dad, not to cry. Because you will, some of you will. All right, you're going to show your expression on your face, they're going to see it, and then we don't start off well in September. We want to start off happy, okay? So you have to hold back that emotion. It's all good. They're all coming to Lawrence Mills. You're going to get rid of them on September 4th. They're coming here anyway. You might as well make it a happy thing and just talk it up how great it is for that house. All right? If you do have questions about friendships and all of those things, you can call me, we can meet. If you want to tell me about your child in terms of how they are as a learner so that I can help set them up with the right teachers. But remember, teachers change. People get pregnant, they go out, people move, teachers decide, get new staff that comes in. So I can't promise you anything, right? So what Phoenix looked like 2 years ago when your 10th grader was here is different now than it looked like 2 years ago. The kids are different on that house. And here's the other thing, when they come home and they tell you, I don't know anybody, there's 100 kids. They gotta know somebody. And guess what? It's a good time to make a new friend. It's a good time to get with other people. They're gonna know somebody. So don't worry. They're not gonna walk around the school being lonely. All right, those are the 3 houses. We have 3 house leaders. And the house leaders are your first go-to. So if you have questions about anything, these are the people that you're going to go to. You'll learn more about this. This will all come out again. We're videotaping tonight, so this presentation will be posted. But these are your 3 people. These names are the leaders, and they run all the HAPS activities, events, and activities. So they're good people to know. They know actually better than anybody what's going on in their classrooms, because I usually go to them first. Okay? We'll answer questions at the end. Okay? And then I have my friends over here tonight that are going to be presenting to you about the curriculum. So our instructional supervisors, Dr. Damian Barriaxa, who is our K-12 supervisor of all of those things that you see up there. So technology, library, art, music, business, family consumer science. I don't think that's up there.
No, it's not.
Business, all those things are... Yeah, those are all at the high, some of those things are at the high school, but here, he's in charge of these people. Michelle Dreamer is our supervisor for special education, 7 to age 21. Melanie Philmeyer is our guidance supervisor. She is the district supervisor. She's not with us tonight, but many of you might already know her because she's been at lots of events because she, again, is K-12. Most of you are here, you can admit it, you can shake your head or not make eye contact with me right now, that you are here to learn about math. I'm looking at one of them, she's going to try to look down, but she's not. She made good eye contact, because she's been in middle school before, so she's been trained. But our math science supervisor is Yvette Panasowicz. Dr. Mary Pankos is English, World Languages, ESL, what else? Social Studies. I knew there was one other. And then Mr. Zenovich, who is our athletic director. He's not with us tonight, but we'll go over all of his slides because that's one of the exciting things of middle school is athletics. Time. Time is changing. They got to get up earlier. All right? They have to be here at 7:45. School ends at 2:45. Early dismissal is 12:15. We do not serve lunch on those days. And then building opens. It usually opens a little bit earlier than this because the first buses arrive around 7:15. So if you are going to drop your student off, don't do it before 7:15. When they come in, 7th graders go to the gym, 8th graders come to the auditorium, and then we send them off around 7:35 to their classes. So they're not in these locations that long, bless you. We also serve breakfast. So if you're running late, they need to grab something to eat, they can do that and they can bring that off to their class, their next period. All right, so I said at the beginning of this, we do a lot of communication, and so here is all the different ways. So how many of you use Genesis already? Check grades. Good job, and I just told you the horror story of that. The LTPS website, if you go to the middle school website page, you will see lots of different information, lots of different links, teacher pages, and all of that. There are teacher websites. All of our teachers use Google Classroom. How many of you are familiar with Google Classroom? Good, this is a good crowd, very smart here. So Google Classroom is where you find all of your teacher information. So again, when they're telling you there's no homework, tell them to go open up their Google Classroom and so you can see their calendars and see what is there. You can pretty much see what they handed in, what's happening, what the do now was for the day, activities through Google Classroom. You're going to get a lot of phone calls from me or from Mrs. Pressman from the main office or emails. They come to you, if you want to delete them, they come to you as LMS Nation. All right, that's what we're known as. So everything, all of our social media, all of our communication is to use, so if you want to block us, you're blocking LMS Nation. But don't block us because we get lots of love and information to you. So alert now and phone messages and email messages that we will send you. How many of you got something about this through an email? And phone dollar? I'm not sure she did a phone dollar, just the email. Okay. And then Facebook, LMS Nation. That's for the older crowd. We still use Facebook. Just teasing. You'll get quick news for the district. We have a Twitter page. We have an Instagram. The Instagram is really geared for kids, but we'd love to have you there as well. We do inspirational messages. We do lots of pictures of kids there, things that are happening in the school. And then I just recently started a podcast. And so you can find that by just going to the podcast app. You can listen to some of our shows. I think we've done 5 shows, and the last one that we did was actually kids on the podcast. So we did a series about reading and how you can help your child with reading. And then we did one about we did about vaping. And then we had the kids on because we had an author visit, and it was 5 or 6 students that talked about their experience with that author. So that's a new venture that we just started. We try to go live every now and then, either on Twitter, on Instagram, or on Facebook. So if we're having an event, like you got to see some of the house relays or field days, or we have some kind of great guest speaker, or a concert, I'll try to go live. It won't be for the full hour, but it might be get a glimpse to see what's happening here at the middle school, or if we're on a trip or something. All right, so that's all the ways. We have a cardinal code. So our kids earn star tickets, and they can put them in the bins. Those are not garbage cans out front. They are they're star ticket bins. And we are recognizing kids for being ready, responsible, and respectful. And we talk about that, we teach it to them. What does that look like in the hallways? What does it look like when you come into the auditorium? What does it look like to be ready for gym class? So that the first few weeks of school, we're really driving home the cardinal code. And then every Friday, sometimes Monday, sometimes whenever we feel like it, we play music and we call kids down, and they get Dunkin' Donuts, they get pretzels, they get gift cards, because we're just happy they're here. So we want to recognize kids for following the cardinal code. Whew. Okay, that was me. Now I'm going to give the microphone up to Dr. Pankos.
Thank you, Lily. So happy to see you all here tonight. I'm going to talk briefly about the 4 departments that I supervise. So we have English Language Arts, which every child has to take. We do things a little differently here at the middle school than you might be used to at LIS. So what we try to do is we try to expose your students to literature that they might not have encountered before. So for example, right now our 7th graders are doing a science fiction unit. A lot of students don't read science fiction down at LIS. And our teachers walk the students through that type of literary genre. We do a lot of independent reading in our classes as well, and of course we support them in writing. If our students are having a little bit of difficulty, we do recommend that they stay in the ASI class. That class is taught by their classroom teacher, and it's a nice small group. So they do a lot of pre-teaching. Sometimes they just use that time to look at their writing and really work with the child individually to strengthen the child where they need the support. We also have a communications class, which is fantastic. Mindy mentioned, do you want to show them the video?
Yeah.
Mindy has a video. Mindy mentioned earlier that we had a focus on social skills and interacting. Recently, about a couple weeks ago, we had an interview day where all the 8th graders competed in the interview day, and we brought in members from the community, love it, to come in and interview our students and give them a grade. grader to do, but every single one of them participated in that. And we train the students, and we really work with them to make them successful at that day. I participated as an interviewer, and I know somebody else in here did too. And did you have a nice day?
I had a awesome day. It's a great experience. You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. The students really did an awesome job. But we really want to prepare them for engaging with adults, right? That's eventually where we're getting to. We're getting to the adult world. So they do a really nice job in doing that. The final class that we have in English Language Arts is a seminar class. And like the ASI class, the seminar class is a support class. The students get it half a year, it backs up with math. We do that to just really hone in on some of the skills for all of our students, just to make sure that they're getting what they need, especially in nonfiction and analyzing the text. Social studies, we have American history that's taught thematically, so it's done a little bit differently. We really try to engage students in civics and the world going on around us today, especially this is a really interesting time in American history, and we really want to make those connections to the past and see that some of the things that we're dealing with right now really aren't that new, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, the world history course in 8th grade is precursor to the 9th grade course, so there's 2 years of world history right now. In world language, as Mindy mentioned earlier, we have a world language survey. In 7th grade, they get a trimester of each language. They get Spanish for a trimester, French for a trimester, and Chinese for a trimester. In 8th grade, they're asked to choose one of the languages. Because we have those languages available at the middle school, we're able to successfully push the kids into an AP class eventually at the high school. And a lot of our students I'm working with right now as seniors are testing for the seal of biliteracy. That means that they're able to communicate with proficiency in another language and put that towards their college, possibly waiving them from the language requirement as a college, but also it makes you more employable. So if you speak another language at home, I'm going to encourage you to continue to speak that other language at home. Give your child the skills and support that they need in that language. And if you're one of my ESL parents, please continue to do that. If you don't speak another language at home, please take a world language and learn more about yourself and the world around you. And with that, who do I get to pass it off to? I believe it's Damien.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Damien Barrienza. I'm the supervisor of all those things that Mindy mentioned earlier. And before I go into my little bit, I just want to really co-sign what Mindy said about all those kind of social emotional changes. I've been living the middle school life in my house for the last few years now. For all the good and better stuff that goes with that. My son is wrapping up his middle school experience in the district in which we live right now, and my daughter will be starting middle school next year. So it's actually been a really great experience. And I know in my case, I've really seen through the eyes of a parent how the expanded opportunities for extracurriculars, in my case, my family's case in the arts, really gives kids a chance to find, kind of maybe make some new friendships and some new relationships and really feel very comfortable and really start to blossom. It was a wonderful experience for my son. I'm sure it'll be a wonderful experience for my daughter. I know it'll be a great experience for your kids as well. So we have a few things to talk about tonight as far as the arts, the visual and practical arts are concerned in LMS. In 7th grade, the art classes focus primarily on two-dimensional art, drawing and painting. In 8th grade, we'll move into three-dimensional art, pottery, sculpture. We have a kiln here. Miss Richardson, our art teacher, will fire some of the students' projects. And when you get a chance to tour the building, please do take a look. Ms. Richardson always puts the students' art on display, and some of it is, her displays are wonderful and made even more wonderful by the art that the students create. This is their last chance in the K-12 system to do kind of a survey of different artistic techniques. When they get to high school, they can actually pick specific classes in which to specialize: painting, drawing, pottery, sculpture, commercial art. We also offer AP studio art, but that's a few years down the road for you guys. In the technology department, Mr. Stamatellis runs our technology lab here. It's right at the very beginning, at the very entrance of the school. It's similar in setup to the launch lab at Mrs. Rubenstein's launch lab at the intermediate school. Very hands-on, problem-solving orientation. He works a lot with Mrs. Kramer, our librarian, to teach the kids information literacy. Not everything you read online is true, as we are learning. So Mr. Stamatelis helps the kids, and Mrs. Kramer helped the kids, guide the kids through that process of determining what information is valid and what is not. Mr. Stamatelis has some wonderful things with virtual reality, website construction. He builds on some of the digital citizenship lessons that start in the intermediate and elementary schools. And he also provides the kids a kind of an overview of elementary coding principles. He builds, again, on what Mrs. Rubenstein did with block coding, and helps transition the students, if they're interested, more towards text-based coding, because at the high school, again, they'll have the opportunity to take Introduction to JavaScript, Introduction to Python, Robotics, AP Computer Science A. So we're trying to build on what happened at the intermediate school and get the kids ready for high school as well. In our music department, we have concert band, we have orchestra, we have a jazz band, we have a chorus for 7th and 8th grade, and for 8th grade, obviously students can't do it next year, but in 8th grade we also had a performing arts class, which is kind of a musical theater class. It's an overview of theater arts, learning not only about performance, but also about lighting, learning about production, learning about stagecraft. And Ms. Molaski mentioned earlier the need to develop social-emotional skills and the social-emotional learning that takes place in middle school. Really, what better discipline to help learn about social-emotional learning than theater and the perspective-taking that happens in theater, and putting yourself in the position of another person and kind of walking a mile in their shoes. Finally, in our library, Ms. Eileen Kramer and Ms. Mary Beth Coleman are our librarian and library assistant. And they work with the teachers to help teach research skills, information literacy, like I mentioned earlier. Mrs. Kramer runs our morning video announcement program, WLMS, so if your students are interested in TV video production, this is an awesome opportunity for them to get involved, very hands-on in terms of the production and the broadcasting aspect. The March Madness poetry brackets, as we've done in the past, and she's also, if your students are looking for a book to read, Mrs. Kramer is your person. So, she can, well, I like this book and I like that book. She will be able to give your children recommendations upon recommendations for great books that she knows they'll enjoy. On the next slide, we just have a brief overview. They're the things I've mentioned before. Band, orchestra, jazz band, chorus, the 8th grade performing arts class. We have our 2 concerts each year, similar to LIS. We have the instrumental concert and the vocal concert, one in December, one usually in May or June. The Tri-M Music Honor Society, we have special events. We have an arts festival, an in-house arts festival every year that our arts teachers and students are heavily involved with. The students compete at Hershey Park. I believe they're competing next year? Next year. It's every other year. So Hershey Park is next year. And looking further ahead down the road, some of our musical ensembles at the high school are now starting to travel. We took a few years off from traveling, but we're picking up with that tradition again. So the inaugural trip for the high school ensembles next year is Walt Disney World. So if your students are interested in performing in the marching band or singing in the choral ensembles, there's opportunities for them to not just travel to Hershey Park in their 7th grade year, but also they can start fundraising now to help offset the cost of wherever the next trip happens to be. It may not be Disney World, but wherever, Knoxville, Nashville, Tennessee, New Orleans, wherever it happens to be, that process can start now. And Mr. Taglerino, Mrs. Clark, and Mr. Zumchak, our music teachers, can help your students get established with that. Mrs. Richardson runs an after-school art club, which she posts a lot of that on her Cardinal Art Room Instagram, which is some phenomenal work. And we also try to get the arts, we try to partner with community entities to help promote the arts in Lawrence Township as well. We've had students perform at Barnes & Noble. Mr. Taglerino organizes Tuba Christmas every year at the Princeton Market Fair. Mrs. Richardson spearheaded the project at Captain Paul's. If you've seen the palette, the flags, and the silhouettes, Mrs. Richardson spearheaded that with students from the middle school. So lots of opportunities to contribute to the community through the arts as well. And up next is Ms. Deadpass. So, Ms. Malowski.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to talk very quickly about music. So if your child is currently in band or orchestra, band or orchestra, we will automatically enroll them in band or orchestra here. So if you do not want to continue playing an instrument, they do not want to continue playing an instrument, then please reach out to me. You can email or call the main office and we will take them off that list. If you are interested in playing an instrument, then also give us a call and we can sign them up. So automatically, instrumental music. Chorus, because they run chorus a little bit differently than we do at the middle school, than they do at the intermediate school. I will send some information on how to sign up. I will send it most likely directly to the students, and then we will follow up with an email to you. And most likely that will look like a Google form probably. Last year we had them actually sign up in Genesis. It was confusing to people. Some people didn't get in. So we're now just going to try something different, see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll go back to our old way. But I wanted to let you know about that. The other thing is Mrs. Kramer is here, our librarian. So I wanted to introduce her so you can see her. And as Dr. Erickson said, she can set our library. Our kids love the library. They love going to the library. At lunchtime, they'll go there or they go to the gym. So they either go to the gym to run around or they're going to the library we have these comfy seats that they love to play with and make forts with. And they do that and they read books and they play games. There's lots of board games and activities. So there's something for everybody here. All right, now for you all been waiting for, Mrs. Panisevich.
Dr. Davian, I wish I had a drum roll. We have the kids here for this. So welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. So you had some time to absorb the information on the slide as you were listening to Ms. Malowski, because you can all multitask very nicely. So we're going to start off with science for now. And as Ms. Malowski said before, we will take questions at the end, so if you can take in the information that's provided, and then we'll be able to answer some questions at the end about the areas of math and science. So your children will take science for the 2 years that they're here. It's a full year course, which is different than what they're currently experiencing at the intermediate school. So it will be a full year academic. We basically, instead of saying 7th graders are going to take life science and 8th graders are going to take physical science, we just run one curriculum for the building for the entire year. The way the New Jersey student learning standards are set up, it doesn't dictate what should be done at any grade level. They just give us a barrage of standards and we can cover them any grade level, 6 through 8. We've dedicated our life and earth space science to the intermediate school level. So here at the middle school, we focus on life science and physical science. We are currently teaching all 7th and 8th graders are being instructed in the life science curriculum this year. Next year will be the physical science curriculum. So your children will get physical science in 7th and life science in 8th grade. Life science and the physical science are both nice foundation, introductory courses to required courses at the high school of biology, which is freshman year, followed by chemistry their sophomore year. So they will have a foundation for those high school classes. Along with our academic program, we have some after-school programs. We have Science Olympiad. We participate very often in a STEM event down in Washington, D.C. We just had a group of students do that. Every year, Princeton Plasma Physics Lab offers a Young Women in STEM symposium. We always take our mandated 10 students. It's not us that puts that cap on it, but the facility, because they are taking students from across the state of New Jersey. It's a very well-attended event. So our science teachers are working very hard to give them excellent learning opportunities within the classroom, and we also have some extracurricular opportunities for them if they are so interested in that as well. Hold on to your seats, it's okay, take a breath, we'll talk about math. So, no, let's sit here for a minute. So this is the math courses that we offer here. And math is very different. If you weren't aware of it, you are aware now. We have different courses in math to enroll students in. All of our curriculum is aligned to the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, and it is a very rigorous curriculum. It is not the 7th and 8th grade math that most of us experienced. That 8th grade at-level math is what most of us experienced as a freshman in algebra. That's significant changes. So in 7th grade, we have our Math 7 and Math 7 Accelerated. Math 7 Accelerated covers additional topics. It covers all of the 7th grade standards and 1/2 of the 8th grade standards. Where can students go after Math 7? They go into Math 8. Typically, the path from students in Math 7 Accelerated is to Algebra 1. We also offer academic assistance instruction, ASI, in mathematics. That's for struggling students. We do a lot of skill building in that particular class. We do pre-teaching so that students have the confidence when they go to their standard math class to participate, or to give them that leg up with a comfort of an introduction to some topics before they see it in a large classroom setting. Our ASI classes are very small. They are typically under 10 students or about that number, so it's a smaller, safe environment for students who may perform better in an area that they might not feel as comfortable or confident with. Math Seminar, we have it in grades 7 and 8, and Math Seminar actually teaches content that we took out of each of the content of the grade levels, because it is such a lofty curriculum based on the standards that the state is recommending that we're saying that we need to address. And we teach that in our seminar class. It helps us to better pace our standard math classes. So we have proportional statistics that comes out of one of the curriculum and it goes into Math Seminar. So that's what we do there. So, a lot of you are very interested in these parameters that we use. We need to use something. We need to use data, make data-informed decisions on where to place students. This is what we're looking for. So, there's probably some understanding that, kids can't go from a Math 6 class into Math 7 Accelerated. That is a fallacy. They can and they do. So if your child is sitting in Math 6, those are the criteria that we're looking for placement into Math 7 Accelerated. Now, there are opportunities when you get your letter in June telling you where your child has been placed to challenge that placement. There are opportunities for that built into the system. Yes, it is going to be an assessment-based type of challenge, but we need to do something. We felt we needed to have something available. So it is an assessment. We will take a second look at park scores when we get them in July or August. We will do everything we can to look at a child multiple times to make sure they are placed in the most appropriate course for them. Ms. Molaski talked about social emotional learning and kids break down. They break down when they feel overly challenged, when they feel like they can't keep up in a class. So we like to try and put them where they're fit into the best profile for them to have not only academic success, but personal success in the way that they feel in that class and how they receive the subject. If your child is in Math 6 Accelerated, those are the criteria to remain at that level. We have worked with changing things from time to time and changing schedules based on teacher recommendations once they get here at the middle school. It is a tedious process. I will lay my eyes on multiple data points for every single one of your children. I'm not perfect, as you can see, I wear glasses. So we do our best. I sit in we-conference, Ms. Molaski and I, about borderline students. What was the teacher recommendation? What was the comment made? We just don't willy-nilly or just say, yep, we're going to put them here. It is a very thoughtful and long process with us working with the intermediate school teachers and then Ms. Molaski and I working together on that. So, a lot of times you'd like to know and see the progression. This is a possible progression for any one of your children, regardless of where they come in and which math class they will take while they're here with us in the middle school. And we're even going to go a little further for those of you who might look or have some questions. You're going to want, and if your child remains in a placement, you're going to want to know, what can I do to advance their math? We can advance their math. We typically do it between grades 8 and 9. And these are the ways that potentially students can change their math placement moving into the high school. This is something called Option 2. It's in the New Jersey DOE standards. It is a high school opportunity. It is not designed for middle school. So we can help you with all of this. So my next slide. Here is the lifetime of math from middle school into high school for those of you who are interested in what can the future hold. Our course offering book for the high school, for those of you that are interested, is online. If you go to the high school homepage, click on guidance, scroll down, you'll find it, because there are requirements or performance criteria for each one of the classes. And that is a potential sequence for students grade 7 through grade 12. Sure. So every year we have to provide or take assessments, and there's a
Picture, there you go. I'm gonna post it, so you'll get it.
So for our students that are currently right now taking algebra at the middle school, which by the way they have to do the entire high school algebra curriculum plus the other half of the 8th grade standards, they've got to do all that in 1 year. But right now the state graduation requirement is taking and passing the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment in algebra at a level 4 or 5 in order to earn a high school graduation diploma. Now, although Ms. Molaski accurately said colleges don't see transcripts, etc., from 7th grade or middle school, if they take Algebra 1 in middle school, that assessment that they will take, they would need to perform at that level to qualify to meet graduation requirements in the 8th grade. That's a pretty, we have a great success rate with our students, but that is something for you to recognize, that you're looking at a high school graduation requirement being completed at a very high level here at the middle school. So, summer math packets, we'll have them. We'll have them. And that's really, you know, we support students reading all summer. It is best if maybe, don't wait till the day before school, but maybe sometime in August, maybe a page a night. And that's just to refresh their skills to be ready coming in. We also have assistants, so you can call into the middle school, make an appointment, and we'll have a math teacher here to help your child if they get stuck. it says where in your Go Math book to find this stuff as well. This isn't learning on their own, it's a review of skills that we feel they should come into the middle school with, that they experienced at the 6th grade level. And just so you know that many of our high school courses, not only in the area of mathematics, have summer assignments too. They're posted on the website. You'll be able to get them there. The summer math packet will be posted on the district as well as the middle school website for you to access as well. I'll be around to take questions at the end.
All right, so as you had said, we will be sending home a math letter to you. Usually it comes out the week after school lets out, because we need to make sure that we have the latest MWA that they've had and the benchmark assessment. And as you had said, we really go through all of the data with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it's correct. So you get a letter. It usually comes out last week in June. It will also have the dates for when we have the challenge test, and it will have the dates when we have the math lab open in the summertime for your students if they need assistance. So you can have all that will be there, and then we'll post all that information as well on our website for you. All right, health and physical education curriculum, I'll go over that with you. They have health in 7th grade and in 8th grade. They have health and PE every other day. So one day they have PE, one day they have health, and so forth, and it just rotates throughout the year that way. You can see the health topics, and these are important topics. Some of them they've had before, they're going to have more advanced, they're going to be talking about this stuff. So they might have questions for you, so be ready to answer them, right? All right, so I'm going to let, they pretty much stand, this kind of talks for itself, so I don't really need to go through that with you, but I'm going to have Mr. Solomon go through with you about athletics and about physicals, impact testing, what that is, and eligibility with you.
Okay, so athletics here at the middle school, what I've learned by being here this year is that the kids are very supportive of each other. We hold team sports in the fall, winter, and the spring. In the fall, we have boys and girls soccer, field hockey, and cross country. In the winter, we have boys and girls basketball, wrestling, and cheerleading. And in the spring, we have baseball, softball, and track. It does get competitive. Some of our teams, we do have to have tryouts, and we do make cuts. But the kids really work hard to participate in these programs. The important pieces to understand when you want your child to participate in our sports here, there's a process they have to go through. You got to get the paperwork in. And it begins with registering online. You go to the athletic portion on our website, there's a sign-up page. The sign-up page allows us to know that you know that your children are signed up and want to try out for a team. Once that piece is done, they must have a physical. Physical is done. The nurse will get that information. You'll get an email saying that the physical is cleared, it's in, you're registered. Okay, and then they have to do an impact test, concussion test. It's a test that takes about 30 minutes. We get the kids on the computer. In the summertime, we'll do it all together. During the winter and spring seasons, they usually do it in the nurse's office. But it gives the nurse a baseline data of where their brains are prior to any concussion. So that way, if the concussion takes place, they can run through the test to see if they're able to come back. Okay, they test it, they measure it with the baseline. Once the impact concussion test is over and all the paperwork is done, you'll get an email from the system that we use, allowing you to know that they're cleared to participate in that sport that you signed them up for. And then they can begin to practice. They cannot begin practice until that process is done. Okay, then the final piece, but the most important piece is also academics. We want to partner with you to monitor academics. If they're not holding their end of the bargain in the classroom, okay, then it may be put on a progress report to try to see if we can improve their grades, or we may have to sit them out until their grades can improve. But it's a partnership between us here in the building and you. We're monitoring the students' academic progress and making sure they remain eligible to play.
Okay.
Okay, we also have intramural programs, so students who may not want to participate on teams, they can still go through the same process, the physical process, and participate in our intramural programs. We usually do basketball and volleyball, but this also gives them an opportunity to compete against the staff in our staff games that we have. And this year, I'm a little disappointed, but the kids are very happy that they beat us in basketball this year. So, got to get in better shape so I can perform a little bit better with my colleagues.
All right, and then this is a list of some of the extracurricular activities that we have after school. So I introduced you before to Mrs. Kramer. She's our student council advisor. She's also our WLMS. We have a TV station, and they do the morning program. They have to arrive early to school to do that. We have a yearbook, school store. You heard we have a science, it's not Science Olympiad, it's Science Bowl. We have Math League. Model UN is for 8th graders, and they have to qualify for that to be part of it. Our kids go to New York and go through a whole series of pretty much being in the UN. It's exciting for them. So it is a funded club here at the middle school. We have a homework club after school. You heard Dr. Barry Exton talk about our art club after school, which is always fun. We have a social club. There's Special Olympics. We have some after-school workshops that you might get a letter about if you qualify for those services after school. It's more math, more English, more help after school. We have the drama, the play. We have a musical every year in March. Lots of kids and lots of opportunities there, not only to be on stage, but behind scenes as well. So we're always looking for kids for that. And then we have ambassadors. We have student ambassadors that lead orientations, help out with assemblies, activities, and things like that. And more things. So this is just like a lot of fun stuff. You saw in the videos, we have house relays. We do a lot of things about points. As soon as your kids come to this building, they belong to something. All right? They belong to a house. So they can walk in and they are part of something. They don't necessarily have to be in any activity. So this week is Spirit Week. They can earn points for their house that way. They make honor roll, they can earn points for their house. If they have great attendance, if they return their library books on time, they can earn points. So there's lots of ways, and one of those ways is house relays. You can see that in the corner. They're playing tug of war. We have every 6 weeks or so, like pretty much indoor field day activities. And then we have spirit days. We have marking period assemblies. That's that top corner. So every marking period, we recognize our kids who get honor roll, high honor roll, all of our sports teams, anything that's happening in the world of LMS, we recognize, we go through a lot of paper, a lot of awards, so that you can put them on your refrigerator. We have photos. We're like Disney characters here. You hold your certificate, we pose with you, and it's great. And you can have me in different hairstyles, and you can have me in different outfits and different weights. Okay, so if you're somebody that's had a lot of children here, you'll see me in this outfit, not this particular outfit. You will think it's this outfit. It is not. I assure you, I have a lot of red, white, and black outfits. Okay, we have a 7th grade picnic. We have a snow tubing trip for our 8th graders every year. They look forward to it. It's a great day. We changed our career day to have our interview day, but we will be bringing back part of our career day. We had career day speakers this year as well. We do mindfulness. So part of that self-awareness, we need to help them be present in the moment. We need them to also have that self-reflection and to that self-management piece. So in health class, they're working. We have a consultant that we work with also on mindfulness. So that's happening in health and phys ed. We have a big push for literacy in our building. We want our kids to read. They love to read. You'll be surprised. They say they don't, but they do, because I see them. They come to lunch with books, reading them. Every single chance they have, there would be assemblies, and kids have books out, they want to read them, which is great. But we have family book nights. We have 2 family book nights a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. It's coming up this April 20-something, I think. And We want parents to come, brothers and sisters to come. We have 10th graders from the high school that come down. They lead some of our groups, but really it's our kids leading the groups. And if you haven't read the book, it's okay. You can still come and participate. We try to pick books that are really universal, real world things that you can just talk about. And then you just kind of sit there in awe of the kids as they talk about the books themselves. We have no homework nights. On those nights, we give you off and we tell you to go out and have dinner at one of 3 restaurants that we'll have an association with, and we get a portion of that check, and that money goes to the activities that we do here. So we really appreciate if you take us up on going out to those restaurants so that we can get a little bit of portion of your bill. We have prize days, we have our career days on there again. Arts festival, as you heard, student versus staff, basketball, volleyball games, we do community service, we have field day, and we recognize students of the month. It's a lot going on here. It's kind of, one of my friends, she's like, it's like a cruise ship. And I'm Julie. Those of you that know Love Boat, right? Okay, I'm really aging myself right now. All right, this is my crazy staff. They're awesome. And you're going to love them, you're going to meet them. We might even come to your house on a bus in the summertime and knock on your door. So we just love being here. You have to be a special person to be part of a middle school, and these people have dedicated their careers. So be open to them and share with them the things that you're concerned about, and we're here to help. That's it. I wanted to get it done in an hour. It's 8:15. We started a little late, so I think I just went a little over. Questions? Come on. Go ahead. She's brave.
I heard you guys have tennis, but I didn't see that.
We do not have tennis.
Okay.
So they might play tennis in gym, but we don't have tennis as an extracurricular activity. In the past, when the tennis season is over, sometimes for the high school, their coach may do like an after school, but it all depends on what's going on and what their schedule and how far they go in their season. And the tennis team actually at the high school is getting quite good, so they've been making the state playoffs, so their time necessarily might not exist, but they are on the tennis court in the fall and in the spring here, but we play tennis in gym class. Okay. Yes? So that was the one we were talking about. They might have academic support instruction. We also have a math lab during lunchtime every day. And we also have after-school homework help. There's a homework club. And if you qualify, we have these after-school workshops. So we have a math lab and a writing lab after school as well. But you have to qualify for that, and you'll get a letter about if you qualify. So there's certain criteria for that. Yes? Extension period. We have what we call a tag day. It is not the same in terms of what they do at LIS, where they have clubs and activities during the school day. Our tag day, what it is for, is that for all the band, orchestra, and chorus to have full rehearsals. And so that happens maybe once, twice a month. It also is an abbreviated schedule, so then the students that are not in tag, orchestra, or chorus can also get extra help at that point. Their teacher may have them coming to their classroom, or we're doing school-wide activities. So there might be some other activity that we're doing. But that it may be once or twice a month. Sometimes it's probably once a month, and as we get closer to concerts, we usually have more. Or if we're having a special assemblies, we use a tag day schedule. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but it's not clubs during the day. No, we do not have a study hall. There is no daily study hall. We have a class called Cardinal Time. That is our character ed class. And that's what we're doing a lot of also our soft skills things. So we're really talking about those interpersonal skills. We're talking about what it means to be respectful, responsible, ready. So in Cardinal Time, they have a 40-minute lesson, and usually they'll have about 20 minutes to do homework. If they're a student, though, that is in band and orchestra, ECP, which is our Gifted and Talented program, they most likely will not have Cardinal Time. Okay? So that's something. They're not going to be, they're not loaded up with homework. If it's taking them exorbitant amount of time to do homework, something's wrong. All right? That's when you need to get on the phone, call the teacher or email the teacher and say, it's taking my kid this long to get done whatever they're doing. It should not take them that long, okay? So let us know that if it is. Question over here, yes?
So I'm very happy about the world
I
language.
love hearing that you're happy. About the world language?
The world languages.
Yes.
Can you clarify? It sounded like it's not every day.
It's not every day. So we have our world language for 7th grade is a trimester. So they get 30 days of Spanish, 30 days of French, and 30 days of Chinese. Then in the 8th grade year, they select one of those, and they will have it for 90 days.
But
In the
it's
8th grade year.
Every day throughout the year, or it's like there's a quarter that they don't
It's
have.
every other, no, it's not like, I know at LAS sometimes they had social studies in the beginning of the year and sciences. We don't do that. It's every other day. So it rotates with either carnal time, seminar, or a music class or something like that. So in 7th grade, they get 90 days, but it's 90 days divided by the 3 areas. And in the 8th grade year, it's 90 days of the language that they specifically want. And the majority of our students get to level 2 when they enter the high school unless they decide to change languages. So it's very, compressed level 1 with the 90 days because that's a semester. And we're actually, this is something that we're in discussion about and how we're going to try to get more language. But it's a struggle because we only have 1 French teacher, 1 Spanish teacher, and 1 Chinese teacher. And they're teaching the entire 7th grade. And, 100 kids are taking Spanish and 100 kids are taking French in the 8th grade year and so on. So, that's something. Yes?
So you mentioned at lunch, recess, these kids can either go outside or go into the library. Do you monitor these kids that are going into the library?
No, we just let them go. I am a comedian. You led me to that. Come on. You gave that one to me. Yes.
So you're monitoring the kids to maybe say, hey, why don't you check out the fresh air that's outside?
We actually don't go outside. We go to the gym, and what we do. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. We do activities. So they might set up. We might have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. They might be playing. If they're playing volleyball and the nets are up, they'll set up volleyball teams for the kids. So they'll decide if they want to be on a team or not. We don't send every single kid, so we'll say there's last 10 minutes and they have the option to go. So they don't have, like where I was at LAS the other day, every single 6th grader went outside. It was cold out, right? I was not prepared. So we don't force them to, we are cool in middle school. We don't force anything, right? Because I'm in 8th grade, I am too cool. You will not make me get up and go to the gym to play basketball when I don't want to. They might want to stay and just socialize. So they can socialize in the cafeteria. They can choose to go if they're in a team, then they go and they're in the team activity. If it might be open gym, the gym teachers, I have them all scheduled for the lunch. So they kind of rotate that and decide what activities based on the year, based on kids' interests and things like that. And then the library piece is if they want to go to the library, they can choose to go to the library. They sign out of the cafeteria, head to the library, and Mrs. Kramer is there with Mrs. Coleman, and she's supervising the library activities. Did that answer your question or not?
Well, the kids don't go outside at all.
They don't go outside. They only go outside when it's gym time. So the gym, they usually go out in the fall and in the spring, depending again on the weather. And then sometimes classes actually go outside for different things too. So I allow them to go out if they want to go out and have class outside. The art teacher takes them out. Sometimes they're doing different things that they're drawing outside. Science class goes out. They did their solar ovens, so they needed to go outside because they were cooking in their solar ovens. So they can go outside if they're not going out every day. Yes? No, they cannot use their own devices ever. So that was a really good question. So they must, if they need to bring their cell phone, they can bring it to school, but it must be off and in their locker. that they cannot carry it on them. If they have it on them, we see it on them, or they're using it, then we will take it. The first time we give it back at the end of the day, the next time you have to come in and come and get it. And usually what happens is you come and get it, you give your cell phone, and I say, here you go, parent. And then you go and you give it to the kid. I'm like, don't do that. Wait till you get outside. So you get what I mean on that one. But they cannot use their own devices. They have a computer. So if you really, here's the thing. They always will say, well, my mom's calling. If you need to get in touch with them, they all have laptops. They all have emails. Email them. They're checking. We're teaching them. That's one thing I don't think the 6th grade checks. We are teaching them to check their emails because they are going to be getting alerts. They get emails from me. So I send them to them from LMS Nation. Sometimes I send them as my own name. They send me emails. I just got an email from a young lady yesterday about something that was going on and she needed some help with something. So we teach them to check their email. They don't drive. So you can't have them go anywhere and do any errands for you. And if it's really important that you need to talk to them, please call the office. We will get them. If it's an emergency, we can identify that it's you on the phone. Then we will have them come down. They can use their cell phone and call you because we know that's usually when it's an emergency that you'll answer. Because you see it's my number, sometimes you don't answer, I know. So if they call from their own phone, I know you'll answer. So we're not that mean, right? So if teach your kid to say, if they need to get in contact with you, to come to the office, go to their school counselor. They can bring their cell phone if they need to, because if that's the number you're going to answer, and they can call you that. But there's nothing that's that emergency, right? Because they're here. They're 12 and 13 years old. I don't know if that answered yet.
Yeah, one thing. So we're allowed to send them an email at their email address?
Well, be careful of that too, because I'm going to tell you, if you use inappropriate language, I see it. I don't want to be in your business, but sometimes I got to be in your business, right? So that's one of the things that crack me up. Sometimes they come and they're like, Mom, I don't feel good, I'm throwing up. Somehow that comes up on an autobot thing. And so I see all this stuff and they're like telling me how they don't feel good and blah, 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 or something is emotional. It'll come up to me. So just know that. Whatever you're ready. But if you need something, you need to send them, if you've told them they're supposed to stay after school, for instance, or something, and they didn't tell you, so they're going to email you and say, Mom, I'm staying after school. You write back and say, okay, I'll meet you at door number whatever, at 4 o'clock. I'm assuming that's the kind of thing you want to email them. Hi, honey, how you doing? That's creepy. It's going to get old after a while. You might want to put a little note for their lunch, but other than that, don't be emailing them every day. They're learning. Yeah. Yes.
Place them in the same houses, different houses, random, with both parents?
We can talk if it's twins. We usually like to divide them. Most parents do, some parents don't. I don't put them in the same classes, in the same exact class. I try not to. But I'm going to tell you, we had 13 sets of twins, I think in 7th grade. That's hard scheduling. That's a lot, because there's only so many places they can go, right? So sometimes they end up with their person. I don't know how it happens. And sometimes, because sometimes you don't want them together. Sometimes we don't want them together. But traditionally, I try to keep them sometimes totally different houses, sometimes on the same house just to make the parents saner. But it's really that's a conversation we can have if you want to request something for that. Yeah.
How does jazz band work? You had mentioned for orchestra and for concert band, they would automatically be involved?
Same thing for jazz band. If they qualified in 6th grade for jazz band, they'll qualify here for jazz band. If your son or daughter wants to be in jazz band, then Mr. Tagliarino will probably audition them.
If your child's not currently in jazz band and would like to be, they can certainly speak to Mr. Hoagland, who's the teacher at the intermediate school, and he and Mr. Tagliarino will link up before the end of this school year. Mr. Tag will come down, listen to them play, not an audition in the strictest sense, but just to get a sense of their level of proficiency and get some ideas as to where would be a good fit for them.
Can you be in multiple ensembles? Like, can you be in orchestra and jazz band? Yes and no. So it depends on what their other needs are. So if they have
if they want to be in jazz band, orchestra, and chorus, no. They only can get 2. You know, if they need certain requirements because they have an IEP, that their IEP is going to trump all these other elective types of things. So there's only 2 spots open, and usually they won't have either seminar or carnal time in place of these music classes. They don't. What's different at the intermediate school is they're pulled out during the day. They're not pulled out. It's part of their schedule. Right? It is part of their daily schedule. They will have a jazz band class. They will have an orchestra class. They will have a chorus class if they choose that. If they're not choosing that, then they will have seminar. They will have carnal time, or they might have ASI instruction. Those are those every other day classes. Okay? If they're in jazz band, remember they're doing double music. So they're doing their jazz band music and they're doing the concert band music. So it's an accelerated, they're doing more. So that means they should be practicing at home. You had a question?
I have a child who is in band as well as choir. So the default is you would enroll her into band.
She would definitely go into band, and the reason I don't put them automatically in choir is because from what I understand of how choir works there, it's like, all right, everybody do choir, so you don't have to stay in wherever. So kids don't necessarily want to be in choir. They kind of choose more to be into the instrumentals at LIS. That's kind of just what I know and what I believe. You can change my mind on that, but that's kind of what I've seen. So the kids said, I don't want to take 300 7th graders and put the, number one, that's a huge course, right? And I don't have enough room for that necessarily in their schedules. I want kids who are really serious about being in chorus, so that's why we do it that way. Most of the kids that are in band and orchestra are already committed to the instrument because you either bought it or you're renting it. This you come with all the time.
So if she would want to do choir in addition to band, is that something just a conversation between us, or?
No, she'll automatically go into band, and then when I put out to you the sign up for chorus, that'll come and then I'll be able to do it. Yes. 4 o'clock. We have a 4 o'clock late bus. Sometimes they run 2 buses. Sometimes it's 1, depending. If they haven't signed up for the late bus by lunchtime, they won't put them on. Because they do a route. They will also not stop at their normal bus stop. It might be your neighborhood stop. Right? So for instance, if you live in Avalon Run, they're not going to do their normal 4 stops in Avalon Run. I don't know if that's what you're making it up, but they might just stop at the clubhouse in Avalon Run. That makes sense. So they make up a schedule based on who signs up each day for the late bus. And remember, it's 4 o'clock. They're traveling it's 1 bus for the middle school and high school. So they're traveling all around Lawrence. So a lot of times I'll get the call, what time you get to 5:45, my kid's not home yet. And so it's because they might be on the other side of Route 1, and they hit traffic, and they might have a lot of people, and so they might not be home till 6 sometimes on late bus. But at least it's something that they have offered. A lot of kids do their homework on late bus. But it's not that bad. Usually it's the winter, I think, is the worst. And we don't let kids, that's the other thing too. When it's dark out, I don't let kids walk home when it gets really dark out. So like if they're here for basketball practice till 5, all the sports are till 5, if not later. 3 to 5. Why are you looking at me like that? Okay. 3 to 5. It's all sports. Practice every day. It's not every other day. Practice is every day. Okay? Thank you for shaking your head and agreeing with me. They're practice every day. During those seasons, there's no Saturday practices. There's no Sunday. Wrestling does have, I think it's a Sunday tournament. There's a Mercer County tournament. If they qualify for that's on a Sunday, I think that's the only outlier of the group. If they're on track, some of those meets take a while. Obviously, baseball and softball, they can go all night, depending on what happens. The other sports, they usually are over when they're supposed to be over. Because there's no overtime for ties and stuff like that. Yes?
Should we check the website and then we try out? Yes.
Okay, you should probably look at the paperwork now. I'm not sure if Mr. Z has posted some of you, you might have missed the physical, so you might have to get the paperwork, go to the doctor and have them fill it out, or you might have to get a physical. Because they have to have the physical in the full year, calendar year. It has to be in the calendar year, prior to that sports season starting. So if you're going to be a fall sport, I would start looking at that now, and then the tryouts will be the first week of school. And those sports tend to cut, except cross country, soccer, field hockey. It depends on how many girls go out, but they tend not to cut. If you have to leave, I won't judge you. So you have three. So I know you were being very nice. You can go. It's okay. Yes.
So, if your kid makes the basketball team,
Yes.
and it's getting dark and it's 5 o'clock,
Do you live close? Are you a walker?
Yes.
We'll have to talk about it. It's because it's Princeton Pike. If they're going Princeton Pike,
Yeah.
you know, that's usually, it depends on what side of the street, all that kind of stuff.
Actually,
Going back?
They go back to the football field,
Yeah, we can talk about it. The thing is too, like dances and stuff, like you gotta park and come in. Like I don't let kids at 9 o'clock walk home. You know, that kind of stuff. It's just I don't want to get hit by a car. And unfortunately, we've had not middle school kids, but we've been a high school kid that got hit by a car at night. And they're not paying attention, you know. Are they going to ride their bikes to school? Yeah, we have 2 big bike racks. We have a lot of kids who ride their bikes to school. So that's a really good thing. Yes.